25 years of love destroyed in a night. My wife begs me to take her back. The phone rang at 11:47 p.m. I should have ignored it, should have gone to bed. But something in the late-night tone, that barely controlled panic in her voice, made my fingers freeze over the receiver. "James, I don't know what to do." I could hear her breathing, uneven, like a storm trapped in her chest. I knew that breath, that hesitation, that split between what she said and what she was about to do. I had been married to her for 25 years. 25 years of laughter, of quiet mornings, of secrets shared and whispered promises. And in one breath, one phone call, it all twisted. "Where are you?" I asked, my voice steady, calm. She hesitated again. And then, a confession so mundane yet horrifying. The party. I went. I shouldn't have. It got out of control." I let her hang there, suspended in her own guilt. Let her words sink into the silence that had been building between us for decades, unnoticed, accumulating like dust. I didn't yell, didn't scream, didn't beg. I just listened. And in listening, I realized. She had thrown 25 years into the wind for an evening of reckless pleasure, and she expected forgiveness. I remember the first time I saw the invitation. It was in her email, carefully hidden in a folder labeled Social Events. I didn't open it right away, didn't want to know. But curiosity is a dangerous thing when combined with suspicion. And suspicion had been growing for months. Late nights at work that weren't at work, phone calls that ended abruptly when I entered the room, smiles that didn't reach her eyes. The email was clear: a swingers party, a private event with like-minded couples, a night of liberation and excitement. I felt my stomach twist. My hands shook, but I didn't respond. I watched. I waited. I kept my silence, because she had never noticed that I was already watching, that I had begun tracking the threads of her double life, quietly, methodically, like a predator circling its prey. I didn't confront her immediately. I never confront. I observe. I collect evidence. I let the weight of betrayal grow until it cannot be ignored. Not by me, not by her. And that night, the phone call confirmed everything. She had gone. She had betrayed the sacred trust we had built. And now she was calling me, expecting me to absorb the damage with nothing but a smile. I needed proof, not because I doubted her words, she had already revealed enough, but because evidence is power. I called the party organizer first, feigned ignorance, asked casual questions about the attendees, the location, the timing. Names were dropped, pictures hinted at, each detail carefully recorded in my mind, my notebook, my phone. Next, I accessed her messages, her texts, her private emails, her social media accounts. Every hidden corner she thought I couldn't see. Every flirtatious note, every cryptic line. The deeper I dug, the more I realized she had cultivated a life entirely separate from me, one I had been blind to for decades. And yet, I remained outwardly calm. That's the thing about betrayal. If you respond immediately, you show weakness. Anger is loud, but cold observation is lethal. I arranged a few coincidental meetings with some of her known acquaintances from the party. Casual coffee, chance conversations. Her nervous glances told me everything I needed to know. She was proud, defiant even, yet beneath that pride was the tiniest fissure of guilt. Too little to stop her, too late to repair. And then came the final piece, a photograph sent anonymously to my email. It showed her laughing, intimately, close to another man, in the golden haze of dim party lights, her hand resting on his arm, her lips curled in a smile she never directed at me anymore. That's when I smiled, for the first time in months. Because I now had everything. I printed the photograph. The clarity of it stunned her when she saw it on the kitchen counter that night, waiting silently with a single envelope containing her invitations, her texts, her emails. She walked into the kitchen, eyes wide. "James!" I didn't let her finish. I didn't need to. The evidence spoke. Every word, every betrayal, every carefully hidden lie laid bare. She stepped closer, trembling, searching for some reaction from me, some flash of anger, some implosion. But I remained still, cold, detached. "I see," I said finally. My voice was measured, surgical, not a whisper, not a shout, just the truth. Her face fell. That carefully maintained composure, gone. Panic replaced it, sharp and hot. I can explain," she said. "It's not what you think. It was just—" "Don't," I held up my hand. No more words, no more lies. I handed her the envelope. "Everything you did, every detail, it's all here. Decide what you do with it." She sank to the floor, tears streaming, shaking, broken. The woman I had loved for 25 years was unraveling in front of me, and I felt nothing. I didn't shout. I didn't confront publicly. There is more terror in quiet power than in rage. I arranged a small dinner the next evening, just the two of us, but the guests were unexpected. Her closest friends, her confidants, all the people she had subtly woven into her new double life. I invited them under the guise of a casual reunion. As she walked into the room, radiant in her favorite dress, I handed the envelope to her sister, seated quietly at the table. "Emily," I said, calm, unyielding, "she deserves the truth." Her sister opened the envelope. Eyes widened. Shock passed across her face. Recognition, understanding. The air shifted. Every lie she had told was now shared with someone who mattered more than a moment's pleasure. She turned to me, pleading, desperate. "James, please, I'm sorry. I made a mistake." I smiled, a thin, sharp line. "I know," I said, "and that's why you're alone. You always will be. Because mistakes like this, they cannot be undone." I walked away from her then, not in anger, but in total control. She reached for me. Her fingers brushed the air where my arm had been. I let the silence answer her. That night, she understood. She had lost me, not to someone else, not to time, but to the truth of her own decisions. I sat in the quiet of my study, the city lights casting long shadows across the walls. 25 years of my life had been a tapestry of shared moments, but the final stitch had been cut. I poured myself a glass of bourbon, neat, and watched the amber liquid catch the light. No anger remained, no tears, only clarity. Betrayal, I realized, is not explosive. It is slow, creeping, pervasive. And revenge is not in shouting or violence, it is in detachment, in letting the truth work its magic, in watching someone crumble under the weight of their own choices. I thought about the life ahead, quiet, calm, independent, free from deceit. Her apologies would follow me like ghosts. Her regret would echo through her nights. But I would not answer it. I would not turn back. Because power is not in reclaiming what was lost. Power is in standing aside, letting the betrayer see the ruin she built with her own hands. I placed the empty glass on the table, and I smiled. Not because of her pain, not because of victory, but because I had finally found peace. The past was over, the betrayal exposed, the truth unassailable. And I walked into the night, unbroken, untouchable, free.
How could you do this?